let's now talk more about personal finance. Roger G. Wolb is the CEO of Fair Money and a personal finance and credit expert joins me now. Morning to you, Roger.
Good morning, Cristo.
Now, let's talk more about the cost of living, because it's all that people, I think, are interested in at the moment. And the petrol price, I mentioned this earlier this week because I just don't understand why the government isn't doing more when you look at the breakdown as to how much money goes into the government's pocket from a litre of petrol. I mean, fine, it's fine to slag off the oil companies, it's fine to slag off the prices on the forecourt. There are many people that are on a blame to go around, but nearly half of the cost of a litre goes in the government's pocket, right?
Well, a lot more than that. I mean, it looks like it's about 83%. It's really, it's got me very, very steamed frothing, as James would say, were he here. I mean, here's the thing. Many people don't realize that out of the £1.80 litre of petrol, by the way, try to find one at that price these days, 52.9, almost 53% goes in government fuel duty, fuel tax. And an additional 30% goes in VAT. And that VAT, Cristo, is not only on the fuel, the petrol or the diesel, but also it's tax on the government tax. It's unbelievable. So
because you don't pay VAT on the bit left over from the fuel duty, you pay VAT on the whole amount, including the fuel duty.
And every time the prices go up, the government, which is supposed to be helping people in this terrible crisis, reaps more and more.
You're taxed on tax.
You're taxed on tax.
Oh, by the way, you're using money to put petrol in your car that you've already been taxed on too from your income.
Absolutely. Yes, of course. Yes, that's a very good point. It's post-tax income. And what's incredible...
So they get sorry, just to clarify this, they get 3 blocks of tax. If you're using your personal money to fill up your car with petrol, they're getting 3 whacks of tax from you.
Yeah. Absolutely. We took the PAYE up front, so you never even saw that.
I think they're taking the PAYE, if you ask me.
Well, what's incredible is that the government hasn't even budged on this one iota. The 5p that Mr. Sunak gave us was risible. I mean, it was a ridiculous sop, and I'm just flabbergasted that in the throes of a cost of living crisis that is devastating. Thousands, if not millions of people, they can't suspend at least the VAT portion on the petrol for a few months.
But isn't it, does that, I mean, the conspiracy theorist in me would say, well, look, at all of this, and bearing in mind that you also get VAT, not just on fuel, but most other products that we all go and buy, is the cost of living really that bad for the government? Because they are raking it in with all of these indirect taxes, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the only thing that's possibly hurting the government in this scenario is that the pound has become so weak that it's worth less in dollars. But, they're not spending the dollars particularly. No, it's just absolutely backwards. It's all cosmetic and financial engineering. I don't mean to be unkind, but it's just unbelievable, and it's reaching a point that's ridiculous. What's really got me headed to the dentist, however, to fix the teeth that I've gnashed, is the fact that Boris announced yesterday that he's going to fight Rishi tooth and nail, on the beaches, in the air, on the land, over the corporation tax increase from 19 to 25%, which is scheduled next year, and which is bringing in an extra £15 billion a year. He's going to fight him about that to suspend it.
So Boris wants to suspend it, or Rishi wants to suspend it?
Boris wants to suspend it, and Rishi refuses, and Boris is going to go to war over this. But he won't go to war.
Though? I mean, is that all just sort of PR and spin to make Boris look good because the voters are so disillusioned with him?
Possibly, but I think he probably will, cause Rishi some consternation over it. And I think he probably does believe that now is not the time for such a major hike in corporation tax rate. However, what he's doing is championing and fighting big business, if you will, which is an awful lot less votes than the biggest voting bloc in this country, which is called consumers and voters. we're the ones who get shafted at the end of the day every time.
Anyone who says that we're in a low tax nation or that we're not taxed to within an inch of our lives is completely barking mad. All right, well, look, it's costing me a fortune to fill up my car. I tell you what I'll do instead, Roger. I'll get the train.
Sorry.
What? Sorry, why can't I get the train?
No trains. No, in fact, you can't even get on the tube to get to the train. Sorry, because, they've joined in, too, for other reasons. Yeah.
So the strikes. We're talking strikes here.
Absolutely. We're talking about the strikes that were announced yesterday that they're still saying, will they be called off? But the strikes are scheduled for next week, 21st, 23rd, 25th, when there will effectively be half of the rail services will disappear. Tens of thousands of workers are walking off in protest over a whole complex suite of issues that the government just hasn't been able to resolve.
Pensions, pay, working conditions. It's in fairness, though, it's the usual list from these unions. I mean, a lot of us just roll our eyes now and go, well, you're always striking.
Well, I think they've got some valid beefs as well. That's why I say it's complex. But the point is the government hasn't resolved it. And I've searched all the newspapers and articles that I can find, nary a trace of the, quote, minimum service levels, unquote, which the transport secretary promised us quite some time ago in the event that there are strikes. Haven't heard of it again. And I just wonder, who is it? And I keep asking this question on this program and others, who is it that decides what the government and its ministers will do something about, will apply their force to, and won't apply their force to? It sure isn't the consumers and their voters. And it's time they realize this, because my prediction, Cristo, is that if Boris and Rishi don't, whatever they do with corporation tax, fine, but if they don't take the VAT off of petrol for a short time, at least, and consumers don't have a chance to get to work and visit their families, etc., without paying £2 a liter, and there's no choice of public transport because these people are just striking over and over again for a summer of huge discontent, as they've called it, the backlash on the government is going to make Partygate look mild.
It's unbelievable. Okay, we're running over, so just literally a quick 30 seconds on crypto.
Well, the big story this week is how crypto has fallen. Billions and billions have been lost. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others have fallen. Elon Musk has lost 400 million. Companies like MicroStrategy have had paper losses of over $1 billion. And once again, Warren Buffett and all the soothsayers say this is going to end badly. Everybody is going to end up with nothing. No less than Andrew Bailey, the governor of Bank of England, said the other day, be prepared to lose all your money. I don't think so. Crypto is just too big to fail, as they say. At the height of the subprime crisis, the financial crisis, the credit crunch 10 years ago, the effects of which, of course, we're still living with, the entire market, the whole shebang, was $1.7 trillion. Crypto has been worth double that. When crypto moves down, when it falls, the Standard & Poor's share index falls now. It's a part of the world. It's a part of the financial world.
It's not going anywhere soon. Still too much of a roller coaster for me, though, I have to say. Roger G. Wolf, CEO of Fair Money, personal finance expert. Thanks for your analysis and your anger this morning. Quite right, too.